Engaging the community since 1970. This is WIS Awareness.
Good morning and thank you so much for joining us for Awareness. I'm your host, Megan Norman. When it comes to protecting children in our state, there are a select group of volunteers who advocate for those too young to represent themselves. Many of these children have been abused or neglected. Last year in Richland County, these court-appointed special advocates handled 900 cases. In the month of December, there were 52 cases involving more than 100 children. In 2014, I spoke with volunteers who dedicated more than 10 years to helping children.
You really have to love kids to do this because it's not an easy job.
The decision is not easy when an advocate or guardian has to take children out of the home.
DSS's mission is to reunify the family. Our mission is what's in the best interest of children.
Charlene and her husband James have been volunteers for a total of 10 years.
I'm happy to know that I'm, available for them and help them out in some kind of way because everybody needs someone.
Most of these children who are abused and neglected are suffering in silence.
And a lot of the times, the guardians are the only constant that child has.
Last month, according to CASA, 34 children in Richland County were found to be in unfit environments. 11 of them physically abused, 10 neglected, 3 sexually abused. 76% are African American.
I had one case in particular where a child was removed from their home. Well, it was siblings that were removed from their home because of both abuse, physical, sexual abuse, and neglect.
A parent may realize that they don't have the best circumstances and wants the best for their child, but they don't know how to go about it.
That's when these advocates step in.
I'm always looking at the bigger picture where eventually this child is going to be an adult, and then how are they going to function in society as an adult if they don't get the help that they need now?
Now, Richland County is in need of hundreds of volunteers. For more information and how to help, call the number on your screen, 803-576-1735. Richland County's CASA program is separate from the state Guardian Ad Litem program. The Cass Elias McCarter Guardian Ad Litem program is a division of the governor's office. It was launched in 1984 and covers 45 counties. While the two agencies are separate, they share a mission of advocating for the best interests of abused and neglected children, and they are also always in need of volunteers. Joining me this morning from the state program, Keisha White and Jamesetta Lovett, who is a volunteer. Thank you, ladies, for being with me this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Let's start by talking about what is the job description, more or less, of a Guardian Ad Litem.
Well, the Guardian Ad Litem volunteer is a court-appointed volunteer who advocates for abused and neglected children in the family court system.
And how many children do you all serve?
Across the state, we're serving currently over 8,000 children. In the Midlands, about 1,400.
And typically, is DSS involved in some of these cases?
Typically, yes.
Okay. And Jamesetta, why did you decide to become a volunteer?
I saw the story that you just aired in 2014, and it touched me. And I said, oh, I would love to do that when I retire. And so in the meantime, I told my mother, who's a retired educator, about the program. And she was interested, and she got involved in the program in Orangeburg County. And she kept talking about her love for going to see her girls, as she called them. And she would go to the school and to their foster homes. And I think I got a little jealous. So I said, why am I waiting until I retire? Why not now? So I started to volunteer in 2014.
And do you create a bond with these children?
You
end up mentoring, really?
Yes, you do. You do create a bond. And they're good kids. And you just fall in love with them.
And how has it impacted or changed you in your life?
It makes me see things differently. I mean, everybody has different parenting skills, and a lot of times the children are helpless, and they need someone to be their voice and to advocate for them. And so I am just happy to be that voice.
And without giving us specifics, what kinds of cases have you had to deal with?
Most of the cases I've had to deal with have been abuse and neglect cases, and some of the kids are had bad home environments, and so those are most of the cases that I've had to deal with.
Now, do you have any cases where the children go back into positive environments?
Yes. In fact, just the end of this month, we had one case that the children were reunited with their parents. And so that was the best Christmas present. They were able to go back home, transition back into the home on Christmas weekend, and then on December 30th, they were back with their parents permanently.
Well, it's always great to hear
Yes,
about
it
happy
is.
endings.
It is
And
great.
Keisha, I want to ask you a little bit about the process to become a volunteer. How does someone become one?
Well, to become a volunteer, there is a 30-hour training program that you go through in the county that you would like to be a volunteer in. You have to be 21 years or older, you have to be able to pass background checks, and you just have to have a passion for working with children.
Right, and I think we do have a graphic that we can put up that has all the information, all the requirements for a volunteer. And also, there are certain counties that need more volunteers than others in the Midlands, right?
That's correct. In the Midlands, Orangeburg County needs about 22 volunteers, and Lexington County needs about 36.
Are there certain types of volunteers you're looking for more so than others? I know you're accepting pretty much everybody
Yeah,
who wants
everybody.
to come on board, but any specific type?
We are looking for African American volunteers and male volunteers. We want our volunteers to reflect the demographic of the children that we serve.
Right, well, I know in Richland County, which is separate, but in December they had 100 children they served, and almost 80% of those children are African American. Do you see similar statistics?
We do. About a third of the children that we currently serve are African American, and statewide we're serving over 8,000 children.
Wow, so you really are filling a need, and you need more people to come on board and volunteer. And finally, just a last-ditch pitch, I guess, or effort to our viewers out there. Why is it so important from your perspective to be a volunteer? And then, James, I'm going to ask you the same question.
To be a volunteer, it's a life-changing experience. You are going into the lives of children that need people to speak up for them. You can be a regular person. It doesn't take any special education. It's just a regular person having a passion for helping children.
And James Etta?
And I agree, it is a life-changing experience, and it is so fulfilling and rewarding just to be there for those children and to see them go back or get to their forever home.
And you've obviously loved it because you've stayed
Yes.
involved. Are you going to continue to do so?
Oh, of course, I will. I will.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to have all the information on our Facebook page, Awareness 10, so you can figure out how to come on board and become a volunteer. Thank you, ladies, so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Still to come on Awareness. Getting on the job hunt is not always easy. So this morning we want to help give you a helping hand and a few tips to help land that job or maybe go into business for yourself. Stay with us. Welcome back to Awareness. In a new year, it could be time for a new opportunity, a change of pace. Maybe you're looking for a job, or you've been thinking about starting your own business, or maybe you're a veteran looking to venture out into the public sector or private sector. Joining us this morning is Willa Martin Bailey. She is an entrepreneur and co-business owner of an executive search firm. She has experience in several industries, including manufacturing, economic development, and executive recruiting. Thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Now, if someone is getting out there in the job market, what kind of mindset do they need to have to really start this process? Because you need to be committed and dedicated to
Yes,
this.
definitely. I would say tap into your existing network. There are people who, whether it be family members or former colleagues or former students at the university or your high school who have opportunities that you may be able to take advantage of from a career perspective. Know your industry. You know, what direction do you want to go? Do you want to go in manufacturing, healthcare, the public sector? So you really have to do the research and get some of the business intelligence to know which direction you want to go.
Right. And presentation really is one of the first impressions you can make, and that can even
Exactly.
start with your resume and or your
Yes.
cover letter. So
That's
what are
right.
some ways you can really boost that resume?
Well, I think the most important thing is to go beyond just the tasks and the duties. Some people will just put down, I helped my team develop a training manual. Well, what did that yield? It had to have improved something. It had to have improved customer service or productivity or reduced costs or improved quality. So there's got to be quantitative and qualitative performance metrics that enables a recruiter or a hiring manager to see that you actually have value-added experience.
Right, so specifics to the resume, not just the cover letter, because usually that's a place where you can expound.
Exactly.
But you're saying in the resume, put that there as well.
In the resume itself. A lot of people will just put, you know, I worked from so-and-so to so-and-so. A lot of people, especially these days, who are living longer and transitioning from retirement into another career, need to look at being ageless as well. So, you know, you may want to look at a process-oriented resume versus a chronological resume. For example, my resume encompasses management consulting, business ownership, supply chain management, and under those headings, you can put your accomplishments. So instead of showing a long list of, you know, from 1988 to 1991 or from 1991 to 1995, sometimes a recruiter or hiring manager may look at that and say, I don't know if they're quite right for the position, but if you make it more of a process or functional resume, it'll work better for you.
And I was always told keep it to one page. Still guidelines that
Well, you know,
should follow?
it depends. You know, I think that rule has kind of gone out of the window. You know, the bottom line is that let it be value-added information. And not just a lot of fluff. So you want to definitely make sure that you've included your information technology, information management capabilities, trade associations, certifications that you have. So all of these things are the critical pieces in addition to the education and your career experience that are equally as important. So it may end up being a 2-page resume.
Okay, now let's talk about the military and our veterans.
Yes.
Many of them looking to make that transition. What are some tips for them?
Well, I think by the year 2023, there are going to be at least 3.5 million veterans in the civilian workforce. So that's a lot of folks.
Yes, it is.
And I think the United States needs that because, you know, we're hiring a lot of people from overseas to fulfill some of these skilled positions. And we have skilled people right here. And ironically, in the 70s, the way I got into General Motors was through an organization that focused primarily on military officers leaving the military. So I think the loyalty, the resilience, the collaboration, the teamwork, these are the things that are skills that our veterans have and have learned while being in the armed services. And those are the type of skills that a lot of hiring managers in the private sector especially, I mean, manufacturing is the hotbed of South Carolina right now, especially aerospace and automotive. And most of the first-line supervisors or managers in an automotive plant or manufacturing plant are ideal for the veterans to go into, and those are family-sustaining positions that are just outstanding.
Well, the important point is that they have very transferable skills
Yes.
into a number of different industries.
Exactly.
Well, and let's quickly talk about being an entrepreneur. I know we certainly don't have enough time to
Right.
talk about it
Right.
fully, but
Right.
you are an entrepreneur and
Yes.
someone out there may be looking to start their own business.
You know, I have been an advocate of especially minority and women business enterprises. And personally, I think that a veteran or someone thinking about a career change, that business ownership is definitely an opportunity. So you want to make sure that you've got a product or a service that's going to be value added. You want a customer base that people, that you can go after. You want your financial institution partnerships. You know, you want to go to a bank that you can establish a long-term relationship. And you want to be certified, especially for the private sector. Like manufacturing right now, people can go into something called industrial manufacturing or manage maintenance, repair, and operating supplies. And that's where the plant gets the safety glasses, the gloves, the safety shoes. So there are industrial opportunities for any business owner.
There are a lot of opportunities out there.
Yes.
And Willa Martin-Bailey, we have to have you back to talk about more.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
When awareness returns, taking talent to the next level on the basketball court.
It brings people together, so it's just like you find different friends, different brothers through the game of basketball.
Developing talent and opportunities will introduce you to the Carolina Cougars after the break. In October of 2015, the Carolina Cougars made their debut in Columbia. It's a minor league team with the American Basketball Association. The ABA started back in 1976, and back then it was considered a professional major league that later merged with the NBA. Now, the ABA disbanded but reemerged years later. Now there are dozens of ABA teams across the country. In South Carolina, there are teams in Greenville, Charleston, and now in Columbia. And the Columbia team is full of local talent.
Our players come from all over. We've got Richland 1 players, District 1, we've got District 2 players, Blythewood, Spring Valley, Richland Northeast, Ridgeview. We've got players from Lower Richland. We've got 2 players from Crestwood High School in Sumter, Dalzell. We've got a player from Columbia International University, Alonzo Green. And we've got a player from Coker College, Julian Nelson, who played at Dutch Fork. We've got a player from Columbus, Georgia. We've got 1 player from Washington, D.C., and we've got another player from New Jersey.
I mean, the ultimate goal is to get to the NBA, but it's a lot that goes into that, like different who you know and versus what you know. So I think overseas is a better opportunity for me because there's more leagues and more teams over there than just staying in the U.S.
Now, joining me now is Terry Dozier, a former NBA player and USC basketball player who is one of the assistant coaches for the Carolina Cougars. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Now, how did you get involved with the Cougars?
Well, I was just finished coaching high school and was laying dormant. And a good friend of mine, Marcus Reese, who we've done many camps and things, he kind of took me under my wing when I came to USC along with my twin brother. And he thought about me because I was giving him an opportunity to coach with me, and he asked me was I available. I said yes, and kind of didn't know what I was getting into, but I found out it was just what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, and great for Columbia. We actually have a soundbite from one of the co-owners we'd like to play for you right now.
It's more than just basketball. So the love of the game brought me here. The opportunity with a friend to do a business venture with him was great. But now I found and I've discovered a jewel with the ABA. It's really about developing young men and developing community work. That's what the ABA is all about.
A lot more than basketball, and you certainly know about developing talent. Let's first talk about your talent and your career. You played with the Hornets when they were first the Hornets, before they were the Bobcats, now back to the Hornets. And then you also played overseas. So tell us a little bit about your experience and how you're going to use that with the players.
Sure. Well, originally from Baltimore, Maryland. Me and my twin played for the Dunbar High School. That was the #1 high school in the nation. And we went to the University of South Carolina along with our sister. Started 4 years there. It was a 4-year starter. And after that, I got an opportunity to play in the NBA with the Charlotte Hornets in their 2nd season. And after that period ended, I went overseas. Well, I played in the CBA for a little while, which is similar to what we're doing with the ABA. Played in there and then went overseas and played in 7 different countries. Australia, Israel, Italy, Cyprus, England, Japan. Had a wonderful career. And after having children with my wife of 25 years, I knew I had to be home with my children, retired, and came back just trying to get back to the community. Started working with the university as a career development coordinator, helping the athletes with transitioning from college to career. And then I went with the city and worked with family planning events there under Allison Baker with doing things in the Parks and Recreation. And then got opportunity to come to the high school at Westwood High School, where I had a good time working with young people. But my extensive 20 years of basketball training and playing has given me the opportunity to help others to enjoy what I did, and that's what the Carolina Cougars offer.
Well, because you saw the world, and a lot of these players we just heard from Alonzo Green, they want to do the exact same thing. Do you find that you're really teaching some of the fundamentals out there on the court, or what is your strategy out there with these players? It's
always been about fundamentals, and playing sports only give you transferable skills to real life. Discipline, structure, time management, cooperation with others, teamwork, all those transferable skills help you to be employment ready, but also give you an opportunity to learn that the world is a lot bigger than your little community. And athletes and entertainers are attractive. They're role models even if they don't choose to. So it's a great opportunity to be a beacon to draw kids to positive things. Getting an education is always key. You only have a short career in athletics, but that education has always been a key. And so we try to use these to give them an opportunity to get that education as I did out of a single parent home, give them an opportunity to be Dora to explore the world and see that there are opportunities out there, but you also have to put it all together because your character will take you a whole lot farther than your abilities.
Absolutely. In these few short months, have you seen some growth and development already in these players?
Absolutely. When I first got there, it was like the Bad News Bears. They were all over the place. But we gave them some organization, some structure, and we gave them some of the plays that I was running in high school, but they're mature and they can execute, and they're athletic. So if you come out there to watch us play over there at the Brooklyn Baptist Church Gym, man, you'll get, it's fun, it's exciting. The games are in the 130s, and you get dunks and block shots and all kinds of fun stuff. We have a 4-point play. We have all kinds of stuff that makes it fun, and people who have come have really enjoyed it, and the crowds keep getting bigger because others are telling them about it.
Right, the word is spreading and the talent is there.
Absolutely, and I'm doing what I love to do, and they're doing what they love to do, and it's something that we got to know. Just like the Fireflies are in the area, we have the Carolina Cougars. So if you love basketball and you're getting enough of college and you can't get down there to the Charlotte Hornets, come on into our backyard and enjoy the Carolina Cougars.
Love it. Thank you so much, Terry Dozier.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Megan.
you.
It's my pleasure.
Stay with us. We'll be right back with a final thought. This year, we're looking for stories that inspire and educate, from student success to the adventures of entrepreneurship. We want to celebrate historic achievements and address any struggles and issues in the community. Whether it's concerns about our country or our state house, we want to be a voice for you. Please connect with us on Facebook. Tell us what you want to see on Awareness and join the discussion. I'd like to thank all of our guests this morning. Until next time, I'm Megan Norman. This is Awareness.